Pokémon games have been a franchise that have always given me a huge vibe of nostalgia. They take me back to those days when I remember going from shop to shop trying to just find a copy of Pokémon Red or Blue. And the fact that finding an actual Pokémon game itself was almost as hard as finding your own Mew, it really embedded it in my mind as a really strong video game memory. Not only were the games fantastic when I finally got my hands on them, but the anime was also so influential at the time as well. I still remember waking up every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock to watch it, and those mornings when I did miss it, I was always gutted. As the years went by, my interest in Pokemon kind of took a dip, I'd say in my early 20s. But a few years after that, I really started to get the Pokemon bug again, and that's when I got into the games big time. Ever since then, I've always toyed with the idea of having a full collection of the main series of games from Pokemon. But every time I've thought about that idea, I've always kind of put it off because I thought it was a little bit too money to justify it. Especially when you consider that each generation Pokemon released 2 games that are pretty much identical other than the Pokemon that you can find in that game. For me to collect all of the Pokemon games in the mainline series wouldn't be to play every single game in the series, but it would be to have the possibility to play every generation. Recently, with the announcement of the remakes of Pokémon Pearl and Pokémon Diamond though, that has got my nostalgia alarm buzzing like crazy. You see, because that is the generation when I really got back into Pokemon. And now I've decided this is the time. I am going to collect all of the mainline Pokemon games, and this is the beginning of my journey. Kick off your shoes and relax your socks, because today we're going to go over my existing Pokemon collection before I collect the rest of them. Now, as I said, as a collector, Pokemon means a lot to me as a game in terms of the nostalgia and the enjoyment that I get from that game series. And because of that, I've built up a pretty decent collection over the years, but it's nowhere near complete. And so today we're going to take a look at that existing collection before I start adding to it. But before we get into that, if you are interested in retro gaming and you want to see this Pokemon main game collection journey evolve as it goes along, make sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on any of these episodes. Now, when it comes to collecting Pokemon games, I'm not too precious about them being complete in box. Well, more specifically, I'm not too precious about the Game Boy generation, the Game Boy Color and the Game Boy Advance generation being complete in box. And the reason for that is because those are the generations where games came in cardboard boxes. So to find those in good condition is a lot more difficult. And that means to find them complete in box warrants a much higher price. However, when we're talking about the generation of the DS, the 3DS and now the Switch, they came in the standard plastic cases, and I think those ones, for the most part, you expect them to come at least in box. Maybe not complete in box, but at least in box. So for my collection, if it's Game Boy, Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance, I'll be happy for it to be cart only. If it's DS, 3DS or Nintendo Switch, I'll be looking for complete in box, and that's with manuals as well. Now, I'm going to go through my collection in terms of generation order, not in terms of when I first purchased them. And so we're going to start with the first generation of Pokemon, and I like to keep my first generation Pokemon cards in this Pokeball here, and there's a reason behind that. It feels fitting because at the beginning of any Pokemon game, you always get to select your starter Pokemon, and you select those from a Pokeball. Now, one of the reasons I actually got into video game collecting, and another reason why I got into Pokemon game collecting as well, is because I always remember this story I read about how to introduce your child to video games. And the idea of that story was basically to give your child a copy of Pokemon Red or Blue and a Game Boy Color and introduce them to video games at the very beginning, or at least close to the beginning. So I've always had that idea in my head. And at the time when I introduced my eldest son to it, I thought it would be a great idea to put the 3 cards into this Pokeball, open them up and let him pick, did he want red, blue or yellow? As you'd expect, he picked yellow, he wanted Pikachu. But it's really kind of interesting because I've now got 3 kids, and my other 2 kids, when they get old enough, they'll pick between red and blue. Well, I should say the second eldest will pick between red and blue, and the third, she'll just have to deal with whatever's left. But hey, that's life, isn't it? So let's take a look at these Pokemon Generation 1 cards. And I will get some B-roll of these games, so I'll get better close-ups rather than trying to put them on the camera right now. But the first one is Pokemon Red, and it is the cart only. And these are all legit original Game Boy carts, and that goes for all the games in this collection. I did get caught out once about 10 years ago with a Fire Red, and that was before I really knew what I was collecting at the time. But now I know what to look out for, and these are all originals. And we've got Pokemon Fire Red, and this was the one I was after as a kid. And I always remember I was about 17 years old when Pokemon first came out, and I was kind of that age where I felt maybe I was a bit too old to be into Pokemon. None of my mates were really into it, but I remember my younger cousin who was 13 years old, he was really into it. And that really gave me the bug as well. And I watched the anime, so I was really quite into it. And I remember the day when I decided, right, forget this, I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna buy one of the Pokemon games. I left it that long, they were completely sold out in the UK. And I went out and I was thinking, right, I've picked the one I want, I'm gonna pick red. But then as soon as I got there and I realized they were all sold out, I didn't really care which one I got, if I got red or blue. I didn't get one in the end. The first time I played Pokemon was borrowing it from my cousin, and he had blue. So the first one I ever played was Pokemon Blue. But Pokemon Red was the one I was always after. I've always had a soft spot for Charmander. Charmander's been my favorite Pokemon ever since I can remember. But anyway, we've got Pokemon Red here, and it's in really good condition. The next one is Pokemon Blue, and we've got a nice Blastoise on there. This one does have a little bit of wearing on the top of the cart there. I'd say Pokemon Red is the best condition one I've got, especially for the sticker. Pokemon Blue has got a little bit of wearing on the top there, but it's still a really nice condition cart. And the last one of Generation 1 is Pokemon Yellow with Pikachu on there. And this one is the most worn. And this is the one I was playing recently. And this is the mistake I made. I started playing this one before I changed the battery. And I got to Lavender Town, Lavender City, Lavender Town. I can't remember if it's a city or town. But anyway, I got to the Spooky Ghost area. And creepily at that time was when the battery decided to die, which then made me realize I should have made sure I'd changed the battery out before I started playing. So this one is due a battery update. But again, pretty nice condition. The sticker's seen better days, but other than that, it's a nice clean cart and it works every time. So the next generation of Pokemon games were the Pokemon Gold and Silver, and I completely missed these by the first time round. I didn't jump back onto Pokemon until the Diamond and Pearl generation, but I always remember seeing Pokemon Gold and Silver in the shops and thinking they did look really cool. It was actually about 3 years ago now when I got my first copy of Pokemon Gold, and this is it right here in the nice little Game Boy protection box. And this came in the Game Boy bundle that kind of started it all for me. I started Game Boy collecting again because I wanted to get a nice collection of games for the Game Boy for my son to be able to play as I introduced him to video games. And the bundle I got then, it was the best pickup I've ever had. It was £60 and it was Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Advance SP, loads of accessories and loads of games. And one of the games was Pokemon Gold. And again, this is an original cart. It's got the nice speckly finish to the actual, to the plastic as well. Now, this is the cart I actually did a battery swap on it. And I did this when I did my 30 days of Game Boy challenge earlier this year. It was a lot easier to do than I thought it was going to be. And that's why now for all these other carts, I'll happily swap the batteries out, at least for the Generation 1 games anyway. I'll swap those batteries out before I play them. But this one has a nice fresh new battery in and it works wonderfully. And again, this one is in really good condition actually. The nice shiny finish on the sticker can be seen there. And again, a lovely, nice, genuine cart. I do have a repro cart of Pokemon Gold as well. I got that as a backup when I was doing the 30-day Days of Game Boy challenge, which there will be a link to that video up here if you are interested in seeing that. It was really good fun to record that. But I did get a repro cart at the same time because I ordered a replacement battery and a repro cart, and whichever came first I was going to use. But if you want to find out more about what actually did happen, then I recommend you check out that episode. Now next up is Pokemon Diamond, and this is the game that really got me into Pokemon. Before I picked this up, I hadn't played Pokemon. I hadn't really delved into the world of Pokemon for about a good 5 years, I think. And I remember starting to think about how great the original games were. And this was before I really understood retro gaming as I know it now. I was just thinking about games of my past, games of my history of gaming, and how much I used to enjoy them, and how much I kind of missed them. No one I knew played old games. Everybody was onto the Xbox 360, the PlayStation 3, and nobody I knew played old games. So I never really considered trying to find an old console and trying to find these old games. So I did a little bit of research, and I remember finding out that Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire had released, and then a Fire Red and Leaf Green had released as well. So that's when I realized that Pokemon games were still being made for the Game Boy Advance. I kind of left it there for a few months and moved on. And then it was when I was car sharing with a friend to work that he started talking about Pokemon, and I realized there was somebody else of my age group from my generation that was still into Pokemon, and he started talking about Diamond and Pearl, how they were coming out and how he wanted to buy a Nintendo DS and play these games. And he said, would I be interested in doing it, because he wanted to have somebody to trade Pokemon with. And I was like, yes, I am well into this idea. So I picked Pokemon Diamond and he picked Pokemon Pearl. And this is the original copy that I have from then. And when I played this, it was all the nostalgia of Pokemon that I remember, but with loads of new extras, nice new graphics, loads of new features. And I got sucked into this world of Pokemon so deep that at this point I realized this was going to be a game franchise that I was going to enjoy and love to play for as long as I could probably remember. Now this copy, like I said, is the exact same copy I got back then, and it is complete in box. We've got the nice Pokemon cart there, and we've got all the booklets. And you know, back in the days, let me be gentle with these, back in the days of when we used to actually get booklets in games. And it is really quite nice. These trainer guides, I do miss the trainer guides from the original Pokemon games. There you can see it's a pretty minty condition. I'm somebody who has always looked after my games. If I still had my stuff that I had when I lived in Greece, I'd still have every single box for all the Game Boy games and my box for the original Game Boy still intact, but I left that stuff in Greece when we moved back to England. But that is Pokemon Diamond right there. And I do really like the cover of this as well, the little shiny effect, the diamond effect that it's got. And that's something, as I've started to collect more and I look for the difference between repros and originals, I've started to realize how nice the box art is on Pokemon games. Now the next game in my collection is Pokemon White, and I did have a little bit of a break from Pokemon around this time. Not as long as the break that I'd had earlier, it was more just the break between generations. But I remember I only found out Pokemon White had come out because I'd gone to the supermarket to do some shopping with my fiance at the time, now wife. And I saw some dude wearing a Pokemon t-shirt, and I thought, that's a really cool t-shirt. Then I realized he was some promotional guy who was advertising the fact that Pokemon White and Black had just come out. And I was like, new Pokemon games? I am in on this. So anyway, I ordered myself a copy of Pokemon White, and this was at the time when I really started getting into actual event Pokemons as well, getting the download codes and trying to get the time-based Pokemon as well. And I remember Celebi was one of the Pokemons that I got in this, and it was really cool to get into that whole side of Pokemon. Again, this is the original copy of Pokemon White that I had. So once again, this is a nice minty copy with all the booklets in there, pretty much untouched. And a nice copy of the actual cart in there as well. Now, I think Pokemon Diamond and Pokemon White are my favorite games in the series of Pokemon. Those are the ones that perfectly have that balance between that nostalgic pixel art top-down look, yet have a lot of nice extra features to make them games that feel a lot more like they fit in the modern world of gaming. I think it might also have something to do with the fact that that's when I really got back into Pokemon, so I have a lot of nostalgia for those games. But Pokemon Diamond and Pearl and Pokemon Black and White are two of my favorite generations, and I say they are my two favorite generations of Pokemon games. And if I had to pick, I might edge towards Pokemon Diamond and Pearl. And like I said at the beginning of this episode, that is why I'm so excited again now to start collecting, because of the remakes that are coming out. Now, next up in my collection, and this is probably, I should save this to last, this is the pride and joy, and we have Pokemon Soul Silver here. Now, I picked this one up because at the time of playing Pokemon White and really getting into the stories, I started trying to research what the best Pokemon story was, what the best games were, and time again, Generation 2, and then quite specifically, Heart Gold and Soul Silver came up. So I really wanted to get a nice copy of Soul Silver. When I started researching, I found out they came with the Poké Walkers. So at the time when I was looking for this, I was determined to get a nice, complete in-box version with the Poké Walker. And I'm really pleased to say I got a fantastic, this is such a mint version of it. I won't open it right here, I'll do that on the B-roll because I don't want to risk any scratches or knocks to this. But this is such a gorgeous minty version of it, and the detail on this box and the silvery shine on it is just absolutely glorious. And I managed to pick this up. At the time I still thought it was a little bit pricey, but I would still say within the range of what you'd expect to pay for any video game. Now it's a lot more expensive, and I'm really glad that this is one of the games that I got before the games really started to get really expensive. And I'd probably have to say, of all my Pokemon collection, this probably has to be the centerpiece, the pride and joy. Maybe one day I will get Heart Gold in a box like this to match it, but I'm not sure. It's not part of my it's not one of my targets right now. Now the next game we're going to look at is Pokemon X. Now I do have Pokemon Y as well, but I've got the box for Pokemon Y, and actually let's just quickly check before we check out X. I've got the box and I've got the booklets, but there's no cart in there. And the reason behind that is that I got Pokemon X and I got Pokemon Y together. One for me and one for my brother-in-law. I was really excited for Pokemon X. I have to say I was a little bit disappointed because ever since the first Pokemon games, Generation 1, I always imagined and wished for this 3D Pokemon adventure. And then when I got it, it didn't quite feel the same. And that's when I realized, and that's why I love Diamond and Pearl and Black and White so much, is because there's something about that top-down pixel art look. And I think they did a great job with X, but it is just one step too far away from me from what I remember from Pokemon. But despite that, still a fantastically enjoyable game. And I do really like how they included so many of the original Pokemon in this game as well. Once again, this is the original copy I bought, and oops, we actually have, I've got my R4 cart in there. The actual cart is in my 3DS, so I will get that out for the B-roll. But again, complete in-box copy of this one here. And so the story with Pokemon Y is that, like I said, I got it for my brother-in-law. And when he was done with it, he wasn't too bothered about it, but he couldn't find the cart. So he said, here, you can have the box anyway. So I've got the box. So filling this with a cart is going to be one of my targets in terms of collecting all these Pokemon games. Now the next in terms of the generations, we have Pokemon Moon and Sun. And these are brand new, still sealed. Argos, a shop in the UK, has been selling these off really cheap, getting rid of stock. And I picked these up for, I think it was £12 each or £13 each, which was a great deal. And now they're going for like £10 each. So if you're on the lookout for them in the UK, I think you can still get them. I've not touched these, I've not played them. I suspect they play quite similar to Pokemon X and Y, but they're definitely games I'm looking forward to getting into. And I'm really glad to have these in the collection, especially at such a cheap price. I think this is the least I've ever paid for Pokemon games. So it's really nice to have these in the collections ready to go. And now finally we come on to the Nintendo Switch generation, and we have Pokemon Shield. But with Pokemon Shield, I actually did get this really nice tin case, and this was a pre-order bonus from Smith's toy store here in the UK. So this is still sealed. I don't plan on opening this at all. I wasn't too bothered about getting this, but as I've looked more into how much some of these things can go for on eBay, I'm really glad to have that, and I think I'll be keeping that sealed for the time being. But we've got Pokemon Shield here, and again, this is obviously the original copy I bought. You know, it didn't only came out like over a year and a half ago. Now, once again, this is complete in box, but as we know these days, complete in box doesn't mean you get manuals and stuff with it. So we've got the cartridge there, and that's about all you're going to get. So there you have it. That is my current collection for mainline Pokemon games. Now, like I said, I'm now on a mission. I want to fill this out. I want to get every game of every generation. I'm not worried about Pokemon Ranger and all these other spin-off games. It's just the mainline generation games that I'm after. And so as you can see, I'm about halfway there already. And in the next episode in this mini-series, you're gonna see just how far I managed to get collecting these games. And I plan to try and do this on a budget, at least to some budget anyway. I don't want to be spending astronomical amounts to fill this collection out. The whole reason I never did it earlier was because I didn't want to spend too much money on it. So I am gonna try and be as careful and as money conscientious as possible. I'll let you know the deals I get, I'll let you know where I get them, and I'll let you know how much I get them for as well. So wish me luck. And if you want to join me on this journey and you want to find out what happens in the next episode, then hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on this journey.